Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Tonight we are watching the charts and the headlines as geopolitical tensions have the entire market bracing for high volatility Monday open. Whether you're holding Bitcoin, tracking the S&P 500, or looking for safety in gold and oil, we are breaking down the setup live to see where the smart money is moving. Let's dive into the data and get prepared for the chaos.
JJ's got the keys to the blockchain breeze. He's live every day, decode the mazes. JJ's cryptic corner where the coins keep turning. Log in now, the future's burning. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. Pixels glow, charts flow. Crypto whispers, secrets show. He cracks the code on this winding road. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. Tune in, lean back, grab your coffee, hit the track. JJ's live, don't be late. Cryptic wisdom, seal your fate. JJ's cryptic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. How's everyone doing today? Smash the like button on your way in. Hey, what's going on, guys? We are still in the bunker, chilling. It's still pretty spooky out there, and by spooky, I mean completely indecisive, and my bags aren't pumping yet, so I don't feel like coming out. Anyways, the price of Bitcoin is $67,214. I did once again leave the liquidation points on the chart just to see. They're pretty much the same. I'm going to update them anyways to see if there is any change. Bet you they're pretty similar. What's going on, Dixie, Kwame, Philly? Appreciate you guys. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way in. Get a little zoom action here. Okay, it looks a little better than it did yesterday. 66,742. Last night, me and the family watched the sequel to Five Nights at Freddy's. We are enjoyers of the original game series. 65,754. Daughter loves the game, so we saw the original one in theaters. The second time around, she had like a theater thing, performance theater thing, so we couldn't go to the movie theater to see it. 67,730. But we watched it on Peacock last night, and it was actually really good. It was super spooky compared to the first one. 68,719. All right, there it is. Pretty much the same. Exactly what we were expecting. What's going on, Lunar Entity? Philly said, dude, why are you doing a poll? There's 2% people in the chat. They slowly pile in. Philly said, what's it called? 5 Minutes to Freddy? 5 Nights at Freddy's. 5 Minutes to Freddy. That's the Amazon Prime Video version. Alright. Bitcoin is down 0.18% on the day, currently trading at 67,176 and 94 cents. Not a whole lot going on. It is 3-day weekend, holiday weekend, so we're not expecting anything crazy. We are still above the moving average in the RSI. Looking like we might get a cross or at least an attempted bounce there. We'll see what happens. On the momentum wave, Jesus, there's not a lot going on. It's a quiet chart in every way possible. We checked our liquidation heat map. Bitcoin dominance is currently sitting at 58.63. Seemingly rejecting 58.8-ish again. ETH Nothing too crazy. 2061. It is holding 2000 though. That's a big psychological level. Same thing as yesterday. It's important that we hold that level. Solana's making attempts at upside. It is holding above 80, which is good. We are at $80.64. Can we break 82.47, the arbitrary level of 82.47? We do got a green dot of the momentum wave still pointing to the upside. That is still relevant as well. Total 3 looks good. 699.69. Very nice. We like those numbers. Can we get above 7 again, though? 700 is an important level to hold above. We see, this is what spooks me a little bit. We were testing, broke below resistance twice now. If we continue to reject that, then I will be looking for a lower low on total 3, being around 650 at the earliest. We'll see what happens, though. Kwame said, I have a theory this war won't end until Trump turns the money printer on. I think that that's what the war is for, actually. So I think that that's a brilliant theory. Gold. Gold is down 1.72% on the day. Or actually, it's not. I'm sorry. Gold is actually up 0.03% on the day. Tokenized gold. What is the ticker for tokenized silver? KAG? Nope. I don't know, actually. That's a great question. XAGX Aha! What in the world? That's not it. Let me see. Hang on. XAGX. Silver XRP. What a mess. I feel like we looked this up before and we got it. I mean, we already know the silver. That's not right. Well, we know tokenized gold is sideways, so tokenized silver is probably sideways too. I don't know why I can't figure this out, though. KAG? Oh. Hey, 69.10. Okay. Maybe silver dropped. That'd be crazy. Crazy drop. We'll see what happens on Monday, I'm sure. Tokenized might have a little bit of a different price. I believe that there's like a 10 to 12 difference between Western and Eastern markets as well when actually like trading. What's going on, Dixie? Lunar Entity. Appreciate you guys. Billy said, I'm with the next move down. My shorts are crabbing and I'm paying the fees. I agree, this war ain't ending anytime soon. Oh, I definitely don't think it's ending anytime soon. If it does, it's definitely going to be surprising. DXY at 100.185. We are holding above 100, which is good for our paychecks, bad for our investments. We talk about this all the time. The dollar dumping is the easy button for investing because the dollar goes down. As long as your investment isn't losing value, then it's going to be gaining value. Even if it's sideways, it is going to gain value against the US dollar because the US dollar is losing value. Now, with the US dollar holding this 15-year trend line recently, which is a big deal, we did get a fake out below it, but we did hold it at the end of the day. It is looking more and more likely, unfortunately, man, like we're going to be doing one of these. Big fat double bottom and a spike. I don't know how high we're going to go when it does go high, but we all know when the dollar pumps, everything else pretty much dumps. That's almost 100% guarantee. Lunar Entity said, the war was an excellent excuse for London to close the strait. Right. DXY 100.18. Dow Jones, chilling. Waiting to see what Monday looks like for this. After hours, right now, markets are just sideways. They're like less than 0.2 difference. I think that they're down, but they're down. All of them are down like less than 0.25%. Dow Jones 46,503 close on Thursday evening. We're going to see how close this plays out. So far, it's the fractals are weirdly playing out on almost every chart, and these are all like weird, like we just happen to see something and we're like, let's pull a fractal, like very recent fractals that we just threw together, and the market has been almost perfectly following them. On the Dow, on the Nasdaq, look at this, it's crazy. Are you kidding me? This one's like shrunken down significantly as well. S&P, we got two options on the S&P. We got option 1, which I believe was the original, which is just a single pullback, and then option 2, which I think Lunar Entity helped us pull. We got a little double bottom, like a double bottom, if you will. We got a double bottom right here, a double bottom right here, and those constitute a lower low double bottom. And then that eventually drags on to make a new all-time high, probably going into 2027. Yeah. So I'm not saying either of these have to play out, but so far they're both definitely possible with the current price action. Nvidia, quiet, 176.68. Tesla, also quiet. Obviously, 3-day weekend. MicroStrategy, aka Big B Coffee. The reason it's called Big B Coffee is because Michael Saylor's ancestors founded a coffee company, and it was actually called Big Boob Coffee. And when the world modernized, they realized that boob was inappropriate, so they changed it to Big B Coffee. B stands for boob. Big Boob Coffee, if you will. So Big B Coffee, very cool. 120.05. MicroStrategy. Oh yeah, and the importance of that was that they adopted the logo in honor of his ancestors. Bitcoin dominance chilling, 58.63. Markets are quiet. Every single coin is sideways. Doge is at 9.1 cents. Chainlink is at 8.68, struggling to get it back above $9. Avalanche, same thing. Oh, hang on. Avalanche is at $9. That's exciting. Let me go check something really quick. I want to check Algo. For the flavor of the week, we might have to make Algorand the flavor of the week coin. It does show resistance right where we said it would, surprisingly. We got resistance, support, resistance, and that same exact level, 1237, comes into play. Look at that, she flipped below it, resistance, flipped above it, support, below it, resistance, and now resistance again. That's pretty cool. Not gonna lie, that's pretty dang cool. Arbitrary number. And it just so happens to be the perfect level where Algorand decides to reject. Interesting. Beautiful accumulation down there if you were buying. This is what most accumulation zones look like, I would argue. It's just a sideways channel. Might go down a little bit, might go up a little bit. It's just, in my experience, what I've witnessed. The volume looks great on this, though. 1187. At the current level, if you would have bought, like, the average of this, which I'm going to go at, like, 9... If you would have bought that average, you'd be up 32%. That's pretty cool. Billy said Big Boob Coffee is an awesome name. Dude, I would totally go to Big Boob Coffee. Imagine a coffee shop. Maybe you don't want to eat wings and get drunk all the time. Maybe you just want to go have some coffee. Imagine a bikini coffee. Isn't that a thing? I think there's a bikini coffee joint. It is called Bikini Coffee Shop. Bikini Baristas. Okay. Well, I thought it was an original idea. Now I don't like it. Billy said, Algo jump that high? Why? So I believe the Algorand Foundation, like the team behind Algorand, realized that their tokenization, or that their tokenomics were not that great. And they've decided to change things, and they're doing a good job. They spent too much money in marketing, all that stuff. So they're kind of doing some spring cleaning, and people seem to like it. Lunar said, we're screwed either way. Assets will melt up in that scenario, though. That's true. Every time you say fractal, I only think of one thing. Frank Fractal. Frank Fractal. Who's Frank Fractal? Is that a person? Is that a person? I know it was Frankie Candles. Frank Fractal. Oh, there's a YouTuber named Frank Fractal? Frank's Fractal Sunday. I had no idea. That's actually kind of awesome. Do they do crypto stuff? Or is it different? No, I think it's a... Yeah, it's a guitar guy. What? That's awesome. Alright. If the Dems win presidency in 2028, they're giving billions to Iran. Billy, I don't know if you realize this, but so far we've lost a lot of money because of the Republicans. The Republican Party is responsible for us losing money this year. At least in crypto. I'm just saying. I don't think Democrats are any better. Look at all the fraud, the rampant fraud. Both sides are definitely trash, in my opinion. Philly said, every time you say fractal, yep, I read that. Lunar Entity said, coffee and wings sounds vile. It might make money because it's insane, though. Coffee and wings does sound disgusting. Super Cool Albums said, I think we will break resistance by mid-April. Just look at November 22, January 23. Kwame said, almost paid $70 for 12 gallons today. Jesus. That's crazy. I don't want to hear about it, man, because I think I got to get gas this week. I don't like it. I don't like thinking about it. It's disgusting. What are we going to do if we got like $7 a gallon gas? I can't go to work if I have to pay $7 a gallon. That's too much money. It's not worth it. I'll sit at home and collect unemployment at that point. Super Cool said, I think we'll break resistance. Okay, look at November 22, January 23. All right. Polka Dot made me sad. Everything else is quiet. I'm not going to go through any of these other ones. Maybe XRP really quick. It's just sideways, man. It's so sideways. All right, 22 to 23. JJ, can you compare November 22 and November 22, 2022 and today? Yes, I can. Let me go to a clean chart. Let's go to our clean chart. Gosh, look at that fractal. Look at that fractal. It looks so good. That's the bottom right there, man. What if our bottom is 65K in June? Oh, I'm going to be so loud. Lunar said, people keep looking at the Biden era chart for Biddy. Not sure why. HQZ said everyone should buy motorcycles like they do in Asia. That's actually not a bad idea. Philly said, dude, the Repubs have found all that fraud. I don't think they have. It's all like YouTubers. Elon tried to find fraud and stuff. He found fuck all. He did a shit job. Okay. November 2022. November 22nd, 2022. Get this shit out of here, dude. TradingView is so annoying. November 2022. Oh, that spiked down? Okay, I'm going to pull that fractal. Specifically the 22nd? So you're looking at that exact... Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. I literally just so happen to have that pulled up here, that fractal. So this is what that fractal looks like the way that I originally overlaid it. So you're thinking that we're there already? I mean, it's pretty... Regardless, it's pretty damn close no matter what way you really look at it. If you go like that, you know? What are we... We're looking at June. 2 more months? Big whoop. But you're talking... I'm going to pull a fractal. Just to see. November. I'm going to do all of November. November 1st. Bam. And then the eventual grind up. Oh, it doesn't... Why doesn't it pull it the right way? No. Okay, hang on. November 1st. Bam. Okay. Ta-da. All right, so you're thinking this. Let me get this out of here for a second. I'm going to make this less transparent. That's what you're thinking. Yeah, see, I don't mind that either. It's just we're so flat right now that the flat doesn't look any different to me, you know? And everyone's been preaching. They're like, oh my gosh, it's the same as the 2021 fractal. Well, this is that fractal. So if it is, then we're not going any lower. If anything, we went too low. But then they're like, oh, adjusted for scale. Okay, well then we're going to like 40K. Even that's the difference between 70 and 40. Is that really worth it? How much higher are we going to go in the future? I don't know. Maybe I'm being delusional. But this is that fractal, untouched right here. Where does it go? Okay, so it has been squeezed down. Let me unsqueeze it. I'm just going to pull the raw fractal from top to bottom. I'm going to go, I think, actually to the next all-time high. So arguments could be made. See, you can't like unstretch it. But regardless, the height is all there. So if I just take that height, which I can make a shape, I think, with what? With this rectangle. So from top to bottom of that fractal, that's what you're looking at. And we've literally done that. from top to bottom of the fractal, we have done that already. So if you want to try to make that argument not adjusted for scale, this is where we're at. And we've actually figured out through just looking at the chart, each pullback is smaller than the last. Way back here, we had 86% pullback. This one was 84. This one was 71. This one, if it's just the same exact change right here, it's going to be 58. But it might be a bigger gap even. Like right now, if we did bottom, how far down are we from the top? It's not that out of the question to think that where does that go? 52% pullback might be the pullback. 88 said, man, that siren was crazy the last 24 hours. I don't want to know, man. I don't want to know. Did it pump again? We talked about it yesterday. We looked at it because it did dump. The day before yesterday, we originally looked at it. Oh my gosh. 209%. Damn it. This is ridiculous. Shoot. I mean, it's clearly got eyes on it. This is a complete gamble. It'd be fun though. It's got the momentum. That's all that I need. That's all that I need. That's not all that I need. Don't do it. I'm gonna relapse. But yeah, 58. The difference between 52 and 58, it's inconsequential to me. So in my opinion, and this is maybe it's just primo copium. In my opinion, all signs point towards us potentially having already bottomed. Now, if we don't, or if we didn't, then that's totally fine. I will deal with that accordingly. I'm trying to get this. I pulled it very weird fractal, so I'm trying to. Right about, yeah. There, okay. So, are we going to, by February of 2027, be back at 120K? That'd be kind of cool. That's our best case scenario. Worst case scenario, we're probably looking at May 2029 for 160K. That'd be sick. How sick would that be? Are you kidding me? That's technically a 4-year cycle, I think. But whatever. So on this chart as well, on the weekly, if you look at the RSI, we got original touch. We got another touch. That trend line has been established now. With that established trend line, we got touch number 3. We have yet to achieve touch number 4. We technically, right now, have a higher low. So, in order to achieve that, we might have to go down to my target of 51.5, which is what this level is. That's at 58% pullback. I'm not saying we're going to hit it. I'm not saying that that's the right number. We might have to go lower in order to achieve that touch on the RSI. The touch on the RSI might be completely coincidental, inconsequential. It just so happens to touch a third time, so the fourth time might not even happen. I don't know. But it would make sense. The more buys we get over time, the less pullback we get over time, the higher we go over time. It just makes sense. All of it makes sense. So, let's see. Super Cool Album said, I think we hit all-time high by the end of 2026. The Iran war ending as the catalyst. That would be sick. All things considered, the pullback right now, 52%. It's crazy to most traditional asset folk, but last bull we had 71, man. Before that we had 84. So 58, 52, whatever we're at right now, 52 is nothing. These people don't know what it's like to be in the trenches. And they're about to learn because their assets are starting to do what crypto does. Look at gold and silver. Gold and silver just did a full crypto. Wait until the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ do a crypto. When those things are on 24/7 markets, ooh, they won't know what hit them on Saturday and Sunday. Teacher said I'm late. Did I miss anything? Not really. You missed some primo copium, so if you're looking for some good copium, maybe watch it back later. We went over all of our fractals, my argument for the 58% pullback to $51,500 Bitcoin, and the concept that primo copium, that maybe we don't even go back that far. We're pretty much 52% right now, and that might be it. The diminishing pullback is a thing, just as much as everything else is. But the signs do unfortunately point to a new all-time high, pretty much falling within the 4-year cycle. Did you see the siren pump again? I did. It's a pump for ants compared to what was lost, but who came in here and said it? 88 showed up and mentioned it, and we went and looked at it. It's a fun gamble, man. That's all you really need is that momentum, and you can trade it. 208%. Like, it looks like a pump for ants, and by comparison, it is, but that's 208% right there. That's why you got to learn to trade, man. Not financial advice. You don't have to, but if you do, maybe use my links in the description. Support the channel. It's number 5 today, too. Ooh, what's this number 2? Some gibberish. Oh, no, it's number 1. Number 5 is also Siren, probably with a different pair. Dang. All right. Bitcoin's chilling. We are quiet. Let me check the chat really quick. Lunar said gold's kilogram chart went to 180K. I believe Bitcoin will do the same thing. Super cool. Tishu. Lunar Entity said, when you say traditional assets, are you referring to equities, index investors, or commodities investors? The stock market. Pretty much anything that doesn't move 50%, 80% pullbacks, and then have a beautiful, like, 4-digit ascension just within a year or two later. Billy said, where's Tau at? A hitter or better? I like Tau. I don't know why. They've stuck around. They've defied the flavor of the week logic, and they've done a pretty good job digging themselves out of the hole. Tau looks like it did what Algorand is maybe doing right now. Pump chop, pump chop. Lunar Entity said index investors are the ones that routinely dislike volatility. The other two have known wild swings well before Bitcoin or crypto was a thing. Yeah, but they lose their shit. If they get like a 2% day, they're like, oh. They freak out. In either direction. Super Cool Album said, I think the contrarian mentality applies to bears as well, which is why I think we will have a reversal. I think bears are way too confident, way too comfortable right now. They're insisting that we're going to see like 40K, and everyone and their brother's like, October's when we bought them. October's when we bought them. When are the masses ever correct? Ever. Let's get to the news segment. Huge warning. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell delivers the bad news. There's effectively zero net job creation in the private sector. Zero. This might be a reason for cutting interest rates in April. I don't think he's going to, but he's been harping on about the job market. If he does cut interest rates, then my Kalshi bet is going to make me a lot of money, because you know I bet that he's going to cut interest rates every single month. Eventually I'll be right, but there's like 1 or 2% odds, which means $1 or $2 will make me a considerably large amount of money if I am correct. Why am I blurry? If you guys want to be degenerate gamblers like me on Kalshi, sign up with my link in the description. Deposit and trade with $25 or more, and we'll both receive $25 in non-withdrawable site credit. It is gambling, though, so treat it as such. Do not play with more than you can afford to lose. I'm not a financial advisor. Subscribe if you haven't already. Today's fear and greed on CoinMarketCap is 30 yesterday. It was apparently 30. I thought it was like 29 or 28 yesterday, but whatever. CoinGlass is at 11, still in extreme fear, and the stock market is at 19. I don't think that changes during the weekend. The top 10, hang on. Top 10 looks, actually, Hyperloop, what just happened? This Unis said Leo thing, for some reason, is still there. Doge is number 9. Hyperliquid got bumped out for this Unis said Leo. I don't like it, man. Is Solana about to be flipped by Tron? That'd be crazy. The Sol people would go insane if that happened. Are they flipping out? Are they trying to FUD USDC yet? That'd be kind of funny. Okay, let's get back to the news. Watcher Guru posted, Michael Saylor says the 4-year Bitcoin cycle is dead. Dang. Justin Bieber purchased this Bored Ape NFT for $1.3 million in 2022. Today it's worth $12,000. I actually disagree when they do this. I see what they're saying. The floor price is $12K, but I bet you if Justin Bieber listed this for a lot of money, somebody would pay for it. Super Cool Album said, if we do see greed again, how high do you think we can go? On fear and greed or Bitcoin? Oh yeah, let's check the traditional, the one that I strongly dislike, the fear and greed, the alternative.me one that they stopped measuring 15% of the information on. Extreme fear, we are at 12. Apparently yesterday we were at 11. Last week we were at a 9. This thing has been pretty spooked for a considerably large amount of time. Last time we saw a clump like this was 2021. June, July 2021. What does that look like? June, July 2021. June, July 2021. Right here. Bam. So this is, they're saying we're right here. Now imagine, imagine the super cycle is real. Guys, put your copium caps on because I'm about to go crazy. Imagine the super cycle was real. What if this was this? And what if this was this? And what if this was this? And what if we're about to get this, which is going to be this? That would be hilarious. That would be so funny. Because how many 4-year cycle maxis would be like, oh, this is a new cycle. This is a new cycle and it was just really small. That would be so funny. Let me pull the fractal. Just for fun. Just for fun. You know, why not? Let's see. I'm going to stretch it out too. Can I even do that? Yes, I can. Wow, look at that. Dude, if this plays out, that would be so funny. That would be so funny. I'm not going to hold my breath, but that would be pretty epic. I'm not going to lie. Just imagine, dude. Imagine this thing gets to like June and then bam, all-time high, April 2027. And then we go into the bear market. Gosh, that would be funny. Why did I get in there? Oh yes, because of the fear and greed. The clump on fear and greed. We had a clump 2021. The clump this low, I guess, was June 2022 at the same level. But the one that we're experiencing right now is way bigger than the one in June, July 2022. Which is June, July. Okay, so that's right here. Which lines up perfectly with this, actually. So we might be doing the 4-year cycle thing. Both arguments could be made. It definitely looks a lot better on the 4-year cycle side with this playing out. And then, what are they looking for? October 2026. So it looks like we'd be climbing a little bit out of it if we're going to follow the fractal to a T. Then June, July, August would be the all-time low. But we'll see. We are pretty oversold on the weekly. Or we're hovering around oversold on the weekly. Let's see. Super cool said if we do see greed again, how high? Yeah, super cool. Are you talking price or the fear and greed number for that question? Lunar Entity said depends on how low credit wants to go, in my opinion, or how flat it wants to get. HQZ said Sol seems like a good accumulation zone right now, around 80. Tisha said heard USDT being used to pay to pass through the strait. Probably on Tron. I don't know. That'd be really funny. That would be really funny. All right. Bitcoin's chilling. Let's get back to news. Marty Party. According to vessel tracking data compiled by Bloomberg, a total of 13 ships transited through the Strait of Hormuz since Friday morning, April 3rd, with 10 exiting the Persian Gulf outbound and 3 entering from the open seas inbound. This represents the highest 7-day rolling average for transits since the current conflict involving the U.S., Israel, and Iran began in late February 2026. Super Cool said, what will be the blow-off top for Bitcoin? Oh, if we do, so you're talking if we're not in a 4-year cycle? Or just what I think the next top would be? That is a great question. I don't know. I like 169. I think 169 would be hilarious. And it would be appropriate. It's just 100K from the last bull market's top, pretty much. I don't know. I like that this has not played out yet. That's exciting. Tisha said, why would it be funny if it was on Tron? Because nobody uses Tron. because Tron is not used by anybody except for Justin Sun, transacting between himself and himself. Let's see. Entering open seas inbound. This represents the highest 7-day rolling average for transits since the current conflict involving the U.S., Israel, and Iran began in late February 2026. Kobe, see you later. The meat and potatoes of the news segment, if you will. Inflation pressures are surging in U.S. manufacturing. The ISM manufacturing PMI rose 0.3 points in March to 52.7, the highest since August 2022. This marks the third consecutive monthly expansion despite the Iran war. However, prices paid jumped 7.8 points to 78.3, the highest since June 2022, driven by surging oil prices and supply chain disruptions. Prices paid have soared 19.3 points over the last 2 months, the biggest 2-month increase in at least 10 years. Furthermore, supplier delivery times surged 3.8 points to 58.9, the highest since May 2022. As the war disrupts global shipping routes and ports, manufacturing production costs are skyrocketing. We're expanding. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is reportedly paranoid about losing his job, which Trump admin officials say contributed to the firing of U.S. Army's top general on Thursday, per New York Post. Details include Trump admin officials say Pete Hegseth is worried about Army Secretary Dan Driscoll taking his job. Hegseth on Thursday demanded the resignation of Army Chief of Staff General Randy George, Driscoll's top aide, for reasons that were not publicly stated. This is all driven by the insecurity and paranoia that Pete has developed since Signalgate, an official said. I'm not sure what Signalgate is. It has really gotten under Hegseth's skin. He is trying to make everyone around Driscoll suffer for no reason, an official said. There seems to be growing tensions at the Department of War. Is this not the first time we've heard about that guy? Sources close to the Trump administration say U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is going after people because he's worried about being fired. Hegseth is very concerned about being fired, and he knows that the U.S. Army Secretary Driscoll is one of the top contenders to succeed him. So what Pete has been doing is taking anyone he perceives to be close with Driscoll and going after them, the sources say. Well, that's weird. That's a great way to serve your country. Iran's foreign minister, Domo arigato, Mr. Robato, remember the Western outrage about hostilities near Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant in Ukraine? Israel, U.S. have bombed our Bushehr plant 4 times now. Radioactive fallout will end life in GCC capitals, not Tehran. That's crazy. Iran's IRGC says an Israeli-linked vessel has been stopped in the Strait of Hormuz after being hit by a drone. The ship is currently on fire. Iran's foreign minister, Domo arigato, Mr. Robato, says Iran's position on peace talks in Pakistan is being misrepresented by U.S. media. We are deeply grateful to Pakistan for its efforts and have never refused to go to Islamabad. What we care about are the terms of conclusive and lasting end to this illegal war that is imposed on us, he says. Dang. The odds of Democratic Party winning the U.S. Senate in the 2026 midterms rise to 52%, the highest level on record. On February 27th, the day before the Iran war began, Republicans had a 60% chance of winning the Senate. I'm not going to lie. Personally, I think that they're beyond the point of return. But a lot can happen in a month. So I'm going to give them until, I think the 6-month mark would be too far gone. I'm going to give them until May 1st. I think by May 1st, if this isn't resolved, they're screwed. And time flies. Time certainly flies. President Trump says Iran has 48 hours to open the Strait of Hormuz, or all hell will rain down on Iran. Remember when I gave Iran 10 days to make a deal? Time is running out, Trump says. 48 hours? Dang. Oh yeah, he also said reign wrong. R-E-I-G-N is like reign of a king, not R-A-I-N. So that was kind of funny. President Trump's 48-hour warning to Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz expires at 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time on Monday, April 6th. This also happens to be the 35 minutes after the U.S. stock market reopens after the 3-day weekend. We will be covering the highly eventful next 48 hours. Poor Easter, man. Everyone's going to forget about Easter. That's crazy. Happy Easter, guys. Regardless of whether or not you celebrate, I hope you have a good Sunday. Lunar Entity said Sengel recently restricted government officials from foreign travel to try and promote energy conservation or energy lockdown. Surprise, surprise. What are they going to do for people that have, like, solar energy? Global food prices are rising as energy costs spike. The World Food Price Index jumped 2.4% in March to 128.5 points, the highest since September 2025. This index tracks the cost of grains, sugar, meat, dairy, and vegetable oils globally. This marks the second consecutive monthly increase after February ended the 5-month streak of declines. Surging energy and freight costs, along with disrupted flows of grains and fertilizers through the Strait of Hormuz, are major drivers. The energy crisis is spreading into food. U.S. airfares are surging as the Iran war drives up fuel costs. As a result, the percentages of U.S. consumers planning international vacations fell to 16.9% in March, matching the lowest since December 2022. Maybe local spending is going to increase. That's potentially a silver lining. Israel is preparing to strike Iranian energy facilities, and they are awaiting the green light from the U.S. per Reuters. Why would they announce that? Why would you tell anybody? Details include the report comes just hours after President Trump gave Iran 48 hours to open the Strait of Hormuz, or he will rain hell. The time frame for such attacks would be within the next week, Israeli officials say. Iranian state media has also reported new airstrikes at a petrochemical zone in southwestern Iran. Strikes on Iranian power plants appear to be increasingly likely. Breaking new U.S. intelligence reports suggest that Iran may increase its regional sway as a result of the Iran war through the control of the Strait of Hormuz, per Reuters. Details include intelligence suggests that Iran is unlikely to open the Strait of Hormuz anytime soon. Intelligence suggests that Iran's control over Hormuz provides the only real leverage it has over the U.S. As a result, Iran may actually end up gaining regional influence from the Iran war, U.S. intelligence suggests. The U.S. officials note that Trump also has said that other countries have far more at stake in preventing this outcome than the U.S. Strait of Hormuz is quickly becoming the focus of this war. Lunar Entity said, are we so sure he made a mistake? Or was the word choice deliberate? Oh, maybe it was deliberate. You're right. That's actually kind of good. Maybe he did that on purpose to psych people out. Ooh, I actually kind of like that. I didn't think about that at all. Because Iran does have a king, or don't they? Is it a king? Or is it a president? It's a president. And then they have a supreme leader. That's what it is. Yeah. The president is like a figurehead. The supreme leader is like the guy who calls the shots. I feel like king and supreme leader kind of go hand in hand. Just saying. Iran responds to President Trump threatening to rain hell on Iran if the Strait of Hormuz is not open in 48 hours. The entire region will become a hell for you if escalation continues. What does that mean? American drivers have paid an additional $8.4 billion in fuel costs since the Iran war began on February 28th. I will be expecting my $8.4 billion check in the mail, Mr. President. In other words, Americans have spent an additional $240 million per day. I will also accept a smaller amount, because I'm a patriot, of $240 million if you write the check within the next 7 days. Got it? 7 days. Clock's ticking. The average cost of gas in the U.S. is now up to $4.10 per gallon, the highest since June 2022. This means what? I'm assuming that that's a typo. This means the cost of gas is now up $1.3 per gallon since January. Energy costs are rapidly rising. Really? Satoshi's wallet is now down over $64.6 billion since the all-time high. Gosh, imagine being down $64.6 billion and it not even making a dent. 88 said, okay, hang on. Super Cool said, how many red months are we going to get for Bitcoin? We saw a max of 6 months in a row. We did actually, and March closed green. March magically squeaked by green, which pisses me off. Look at this crap. I was so irritated. It's green. It's up by 2.03%, which is actually pretty big for Bitcoin. But it bugs me. Very, very bothered. I'm guessing, if we're going off the monthly, that it's going to end up being the stupid crap out of my way. July 2022 kind of situation. If we're doing the whole 4-year cycle garbage. But you never know. You never know. So yeah, unfortunately, we did not get our 6th month because that would have been good copium. Fortunately, we got to find our own new copium. 88 said, "You're giving Trump too much credit for being witty." I don't know if he writes all of his posts. He might have asked OpenAI. That's the only thing OpenAI is good at, is words. Not good at anything else, which cracks me up. Huge spot centralized exchange volume hit 986 billion in March. That marks the lowest month in the past 2 years. Wow. Hot. The ETH Foundation is approaching 70,000 ETH staked. Good for them. At least somebody stakes. The ETH Foundation stakes more than frickin' Vitalik. It's ridiculous. Fact, roughly 11 to 20, like cable guy hours up in this bitch, 11 to 20%, so there's a 100% difference in between those two numbers, almost, of Bitcoin's limited supply is lost forever. I like that they don't know. There's such a huge gap in the ones that they do and don't know. Does that mean that like roughly 9% is in wallets of people who they're not sure if those people are alive anymore? Somebody that just bought and held, never touched it ever again? Because there's got to be a reason for them to think that it's lost forever. The 11% they can guarantee. The 20% they're not so sure about. So that 9% difference might just be wallets of diamond ball gigachads that just loaded up 9% of Bitcoin supply. And they're just like, just leave it there for now. I don't feel like touching it. I don't even want to check it. We don't need to do a test transaction. We don't need to dollar cost average. I don't give a crap. That's pretty epic. I'm not going to lie. Despite only trading for 4 days, the Bitcoin ETFs saw a net weekly inflow of $22.6 million. Very cool. $20 trillion Q1 volume, around 90% derivatives, and Binance dominated per CoinGlass. Crazy. Cortical Labs is running code on human brain cells, turning neurons into a new kind of computing hardware. This is the Matrix. The Matrix had us as batteries. They got that part wrong. The rest of it, probably correct. And instead of batteries, we're just going to be CPUs. That's crazy. Polymarket open interest is nearing the highs of the elections in 2024. Dang, that's actually kind of spicy. Lunar Energy said, "Where did March close and April open?" Let's go check. March closed. March closed 68,298, and April opened 68,257. Lunar Entity said the U.S. government was using a dead firm as a front to peg old wallets with a hash warning, tagged and bagged the Bitcoin inside through an exploit for anyone that tried to move it. The U.S. government was using a dead firm as a front to peg old wallets with a hash warning, tagged and bagged the Bitcoin inside through an exploit for anyone that tried to move it. What does that mean? They're trying to like catch people evading taxes? Or is that specific Bitcoin linked to crime somehow? I do enjoy the idea of someone being like, yeah, I'll send you my Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin just has some stain on it that's like, this Bitcoin was used to buy people on the Silk Road. Remember, you like look at the memories of like your money. You just have a photo album, and it's like your $100 bills like skipping in the field with like Pablo Escobar. You're like, oh shit. All right. The U.S. doubled shipping protection in the Strait of Hormuz to $40 billion, and yet it's still closed magically. That's fine. Bitcoin gained and lost $10,000 under 4 weeks. Is that, you know what would be really funny is if they did this and the Israeli ship tried to go through and then they freaking exploded it. I mean, it's not funny. I don't want people to lose their lives, but it's kind of ironic. Lunar Entity said they sent a warning to inactive wallets and scooped the Bitcoin if the inactive wallet responded. The exploit was specific to wallets before 2017, I believe. Oh, interesting. That's kind of crazy. So I know, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe if you have all of the miners vote, they can like vote to, I don't know, take Bitcoin. Does that make sense? So if there's Bitcoin, let's say Satoshi's wallet, let's say they reach the end and all the Bitcoin is mined, however, 150 years from now, and all the miners come together and they're like, what do we do? They can vote, I believe that they can vote a majority and basically erase. I don't know if it would constitute that. I think that they would actually just fork. I think they would fork, but they can basically erase Satoshi's Bitcoin and maybe they can mine that Bitcoin remaining or whatever. I don't know. I have no idea. But by then, it might not even matter. That might not even be a question, a reasonable question, because the value of Bitcoin could be so high that fees paid might pay the miners and make it worth them securing the network anyways. I guess that's my only concern from this point forward. In 150 years, who's going to secure the network if all the Bitcoin is mined? What's the incentive there? You have to have transaction fee high enough to pay the miners. I guess that's not really that big of a concern if the mining is still decentralized, there'd probably still be like 1 million individual miners to make money off of it as long as it's profitable, and it still wouldn't be too expensive for people to transact. So maybe it would balance itself out over time. It's a good question. Bitcoin gained and lost $10,000 in under 4 weeks. That's crazy. Kevin Warsh, Federal Reserve Chair nomination hearing is set for April 16th, despite ongoing Fed probe. They're probing Powell so hard. Insight, Europe's MiCA transition window is closing and compliance pressure is rising fast. Licensing, reporting, and cross-border structure must now align across multiple jurisdictions, with many firms still mid-transition. Legal Nodes, is helping teams navigate MiCA compliance before the deadline hits. Dang. James Seafart? That's such an unfortunate name. James Seafart says Bitcoin ETFs could surpass gold ETFs as demand expands beyond just digital gold. What a legend. If it's digital gold, though, shouldn't it at least align with gold ETFs? Am I wrong? There seems to be, like, he's removing an entire step to kind of lap itself. Doesn't make sense. You should catch up to gold ETFs before you expand beyond. You know what I mean? Lunar Entity said, or Island Man is alive and pulls the greatest rug known to man. That'd be crazy. Flight Fan said, is there any way to see how much money profits America has made off being the leading oil distributor since the war started? I feel oil profit checks would be used to win midterms. Oh, ooh. That's not a... Okay, what if that was it? We're going... Okay, we gotta get the tinfoil out. It's been a while. It has been a while. Flight Fan coming in with the juice. Very frequently, by the way. I would like to point that out. Thank you, Flight Fan. What if Trump started this war knowing that we're a net exporter of oil? We make all of this money and we get Alaskan-style oil dividend checks in lieu of the tariff checks that we were supposed to receive since the Supreme Court sharded all over Trump's tariffs. Whoa. Whoa. That might be it, man. 88 said, not Seafart. Dude, Seafart is so unfortunate. Oh, no. Crypto Theory with G said, at this point, I don't know what's going on. All the information is positive. We still haven't gotten bullish price action. Hurry up and wait, I guess. It is 100% hurry up and wait. It's like, hurry up and sell. At this point, they want you to get out. They want you to sell your bags so that way they can send it to the friggin' stratosphere. And we're all going to be bitching and moaning. Oh my gosh, we missed it. Oh, that crypto thing? Oh my gosh, did you see Bitcoin is actually like 150,000? We're gonna be like, what? Oh man, I used to do that Bitcoin thing. What is it at? Flipfan said, I like it, sign me up. It's not a bad theory. I've pointed out 1,000 times already. I'm like, if the president does something that affects my day-to-day life, then if it's positive, then great. I will enjoy that presidency. If it's negative, then I'm going to talk shit. So far, it's been net negative for Trump. Longs. If ETH drops by $52, $1 billion in longs will be wiped out. Dang. $52? That's a lot of money. They probably hit that already, right? That was 8 hours ago. Wrecked Bitcoin whales lost about 337 million per day in Q1, totaling 30.9 billion realized losses. That's a lot of money. New Japan's 10-year bond yield just hit its highest level this century. Let's check the US 10-year just to see. Okay, does this move on the weekend? I don't think it does. Nope. We gotta wait till Sunday. All right. 67,114. Oops. Next, we've got huge. Tether is targeting a $500 billion valuation with a $15 to $20 billion raise, but investor hesitation could delay the deal. If successful, it would rank just behind JP Morgan and surpass most U.S. banks. That's kind of hilarious. Next, we've got Mr. Mark Chadwick, one of the GigaChad legend permabulls. This is one of the craziest divergences we've ever seen, and it's just starting to revert to mean. Gold overbought, Bitcoin deeply oversold. This is how the rotation begins. Last time this setup showed up, Bitcoin 2 to 4x, alts 10 to 100x. Gold ran first, Bitcoin is next. Alts come last and outperform everything. It's just a matter of time. I actually agree with this one. I don't think that this is outlandish permabull nonsense. We've seen this happen 1,000 times. Gold pumps, tops out, Bitcoin versus gold bottoms, and then the liquidity, regardless of whether or not it comes from gold, maybe it just comes from the macroeconomics that cause gold to pump and top out, but the liquidity eventually floods into Bitcoin, which eventually trickles down into altcoins. Now, we never saw the path to alt season play out. We're still waiting for that. So I guess that's the ultimate question is this going to play out the way that it has in the past? So far, nothing has played out the way that it has in the past. This guy has been an absolute genius. Post from 2023. This guy nailed it. Nailed it 2 years later. Just under 2 years later. Like 1 year and 11 months later. And then what else do we have? I think that's it. We got this guy. 2026 is supposed to be when everything peaks. Bitcoin technically peaked in 2025, so are we going to get that new peak in 2026? That'd be pretty crazy. That also goes back to the double top theory and that we just put together of Bitcoin potentially playing out the same way that it played out in the past, which this in my opinion is the funniest potential scenario. If this peak was this, and then this would technically just be this little hump right here. This where we're at right now would be that little flat line, and then we'd just go up for a new high before the end of the year. That would be so funny. Everyone would freak out. No one would know what the hell's going on because no one's expecting that. Everyone's thinking that this right here is what happened right here. And I don't know, that would just be so funny to me if it played out like this. I'm going to pull the fractal again just because it cracks me up. Come on, man. Imagine Bitcoin topping out at like 140, 130, 140. That would be so funny. We got to wait until May. The end of May? Oh my gosh, come on. Again, you could stretch the fractal whatever way you want, but it's fun. It's fun to speculate. If we get a little dead cat bounce lump by like mid-August, I'm gonna go out and say it that this is it. That would be really funny. Remember April 4th, the live stream from April 4th, 4/4 is when we first talked about the double top scenario potentially playing out. So in the future, If it does play out, we can go back and clip this and be like, look at this guy's a genius. And we can finally get 2,000 subscribers. Bitcoin, chilling. Oh, man. I'm excited. It's the weather's getting nicer out and stuff too, man. I'm just stoked. Stoked to be alive. You know, I wish we weren't at war. I feel like it's unnecessary loss of life, but what are you going to do? Sucks that that's the way it's got to be, but let's see if gold tops out and liquidity flows into Bitcoin. We got Crypto Fergani, who has become a staple of the channel. We got to get into character. Ready? All right. My bull run plan is simple. For the next 3 to 6 months, this is how you win. Understand this. Everything will pump. Or should I say, everything that attracts retail will pump. Money flows where attention goes. When you find these altcoins, all you have to do is buy the fear, sell the greed, buy before the breakout, buy when no one is talking about it, sell once retail floods in, buy when listed on a few exchanges, sell after tier 1 listings, pump your bags. That's your cheat code. That's all you have to do. These are the only really simple, small number of things that you have to do. That's your cheat code. No one will tell you this, but now you know. Oh my gosh, he didn't even tell you to follow him. Very out of character. We also have, some of you are trying to turn 1K into 1 million. When all you need is 5 2x plays with size. Keep it simple. Keep flipping. All right, this one's yelling. He doesn't tell you to follow him in this one either. Gold has ended its bull cycle. Liquidity is rotating into Bitcoin right now. When they press go, this won't be a bull run. It will be a financial reset. The rich know it. The smart are quietly preparing. Everyone else is asleep. I'm not guessing. I'm telling you. My next play is almost ready. Follow before it drops. I like it, though. I like this chart, too, man. I like it. Crypto Fergani. Absolute legend. We got a beautiful gold ascending channel, or ascending triangle. Breakout to the upside. Bitcoin ascending triangle. Breakout to the upside. I don't know. That'd be kind of sick. Oh, we got one more. Breaking. The pump is loading. Bull run countdown has begun. All right. He just straight up stole this from Merlin. You can see Merlin's watermark on there. Oh, it says it right there. Okay. He gave credit. Okay, good. This one looks good too, though. What the heck is going on? They got some good looking charts, man. The bulls are maybe what would be really funny is if I just never verified this and this was completely fabricated. MSB Intel posted, Iranian officials warn the U.S. and Israel the entire region will become a hell if the conflict continues to escalate per Iranian state media. Does that mean that they're going to like nuke themselves? That'd be kind of crazy. What would happen if that happened? What if a country nuked themselves? Wow. JY's Avenger said, I subscribe for the Crypto Fergani voiceovers. That is exactly what his voice sounds like. All right, I'm going to end the current poll, and we're going to go to poll number 2. I asked you guys, do you think Trump's deadline will pass without a deal? 50% of you guys said yes, he'll do something crazy too. 25% said yes, but he'll taco like always. 17% said no, Iran will make a deal. 8% said no, something else will distract. We got a total of 12 votes. Let's start the next poll. Which asset performs best in the next bull run? We've got BNB. We've got ETH. We've got Solana. And we've got XRP. Is that too easy? I don't like it. Let's do it. Which asset performs the best in the next bull run? You got Binance, Ethereum, Solana, and Ripple. Let me know what you guys think. 88 said bookmark this. JY's Adventure also said bookmark this. Should we make bookmark this merch? That'd be kind of funny. JY's Adventure said, yep, I already read that. Okay. Dixie said, I've been doing fush things. What's fush things? Fush things? I've been doing fush things? It's like flush without the L. JY's Adventure said XRP will outperform. All right. The U.S. House passes Clarity Act 294 to 134 with bipartisan backing, while stablecoin talks reach 99% completion and a Senate vote looms. Let's go. Just in, President Trump says many of Iran's military leaders have been terminated following what he calls a massive strike on Tehran. President Trump says, they just copy-pasted this twice. That's kind of funny. Okay. All right. Just in, Bank of America chief strategist Hartnett names the 4C post-war plays: curve, commodities, China, and consumer, positioning for the end of the Iran conflict. Ooh, I like that. Michael Saylor revealed the end game. They plan to buy $100 billion worth of Bitcoin. If I get 7.5% of the network, it's $10 million a coin. We top out at 7.5% and then slow down. Bullish. That's crazy. How much does he have right now? Crypto Rover posted breaking Bitcoin fees dropped to 2.5 Bitcoin per day, the lowest since 2011. On-chain demand is fading. That is going to continue with stuff like ETFs and stuff like that. Unfortunately, there's going to have to be some middle ground where this stuff kind of interconnects with the blockchain aspect. Otherwise, if they just start trading nothing but like paper versions of the blockchain aspect is going to die. Because if there's no fees generated, eventually the mining is not going to be profitable and no one's going to care. Realto said, so sad how slow crypto is, and live streams very appreciative that you go live daily. Not many out there. I appreciate that, Realto. I try to live stream daily. I actually have been. I've been streaming daily in September, it will be 2 full years. September is my 1 year mark. I've been doing it for over a year. So October, November, December, January, February, March, April. I've been doing it for 1 year and 7 months every single day. Have not missed a single day. Haven't missed Christmas. Haven't missed my birthday. Haven't missed my family's birthday. With their express permission. Like usually after everyone's gone to bed and stuff. But I have not missed a single day. HQZ said, Sailor talks so much shit. I love it, dude. It makes me so happy. Crypto Theory with G said, more and more people are realizing that XRP is what XRP is every day. Hate it or love it sooner than later. The crypto market will have to adjust and assets will have to move at their own pace. It's time to grow up, not financial advice. JWS Venture said, the crypto industry is dying, Realto. It's just the autistic stock market. Prediction markets replace crypto. HQZ said, that means this is the time to accumulate, Realto. Yes, it does. But also subscribe and spread the word. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers, man. I can't even talk. I'm starting to stutter. Lunar Entity said, bucket shops did exactly that until they were outlawed, JY. Dang. All right. Bitcoin fees. We've got Bitcoin Professor posting the Clarity Act is coming. 294 to 134, the House, bipartisan. Trump behind it. Loomis just said stablecoin talks are 99% resolved. The Senate vote is imminent. For the first time in history, crypto will have a legal framework in the U.S. Banks spend $56 million. Banks wasted $56 million lobbying against this. They're about to lose. That is hilarious, Jamie Dimon. Suck my fat one, bitch. Vivek Sen posted, Bitcoin is about to go parabolic soon. Impulse, consolidation, expansion. Okay. Each consolidation lasts 20 to 23 months. We're in that same phase again. Next leg up is coming. I guess, how long has our consolidation been? $23? Yeah. That's a consolidation, though. It seems arbitrary. That seems so arbitrary. I'll take it, though. It's copium. What are you going to do? Realto said, my name is Real to True. It's a blackjack card counting term. Okay, Real to True. I like that. That's better than Realto. I'm not a foot guy. Thank you for letting me know. JWS Venture said, can you look at the PPW token on Sol, please, JJ? Yes, I can. Let's do an update on Harambe as well, you guys. For those that are not aware, Harambe, we've been tracking on the channel for a couple, almost since inception. The death anniversary of Harambe, rest in peace, sticks up for Harambe. is in May. So we try to front run that and accumulate just for fun. It's a gamble. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't do what I do. PPW. Pentagon Pizza Watch. 30-something% on the day. Interesting. Is this from the official Twitter? Because I know that there's an official Twitter. Nope. That's sick, though. Oh, maybe this is the official one. What one am I following? What? They have a Polymarket affiliate badge? Is that what that is? How do I see their affiliates? Where did it go? Hello? Polymarket developers. It is. What? Wow. Hang on. That's kind of crazy. I mean, the chart doesn't look that great, to be honest. Let me check bubble maps. The distribution is usually the most important when looking at meme coins like this. A lot of connected small guys. Not sure who these are. All big users. Top 80 holders. 90 up to go. Okay. Let me check. I don't know. 29K liquidity. That would be 27. So it's not that guy. Where's the liquidity? This is a Solana Meteora chart. I don't know. There's no liquidity contract, so I'm not sure if these are people or not. And if they don't deposit, like if they just deposit it into a wallet, then I won't be able to tell if they've had any transactions. Yeah, this guy's buying like crazy. Wow. I don't know, man. Maybe they will plan on pumping it. Obviously, that second wallet right there, this guy's got 3.33% of it he's accumulated. So he's got an incentive to pump it. That's quite a bit. They don't necessarily have the liquidity for a number of these people to like one clip. So just be careful with that. But the rest of it, I'm not seeing any huge red flags. Obviously, all it takes is one red flag though. So just exercise caution. I don't hate it. It is a good gamble. I agree. But a gamble it is. All right, let's continue. Mr. Raul Paul from Merlin the Trader. Massive 66,000 today, 140,000 where it should be, 1 million where it's going. Raul Paul called the last cycle. Now he's screaming from the rooftops. Global liquidity is expanding. Dollar is weakening. Bitcoin is waiting for the trigger. Are you? Guys, I'm not going to lie. I've been accumulating just for the sake of accumulation. And I'm fully expecting to make a return on my investment. My worst case scenario, and this is why we preach diversity on the channel, is that crypto just doesn't work out. And if that's the case, then we have stocks, we have gold, we have silver. I don't have any gold. We have vehicles, like we have physical assets, we got digital assets, we've got stock market, all this stuff. You got to diversify. Just be careful. Do your thing. But I think, in my opinion, right now, accumulation is the name of the game. I think it's just a waiting game at this point. I really do. And if it's the 4-year cycle thing, and we gotta wait, even with, this is, I guess, my biggest preach, maybe that's the right word. The best case scenario in the worst case scenario. I accumulated all last bear market, all right here, all coins underperformed tremendously. Bitcoin did amazing. Altcoins did fuck all. But I accumulated all throughout this. I daily DCA all this, all of it. Even still, I made from here, going from this point up, an insanely, ridiculously large amount of money compared to anything else that I've ever done previously. And that's on altcoins. And altcoins did so bad compared to Bitcoin. So just to think that all it takes, because look at this. This is your altcoin chart, essentially. You accumulate, and then beautiful, and then you're done. Now, I accumulated, most of my accumulation took place right here. Majority of it took place well underneath this level. So I should technically be in profit. On the way up, I'm going to be throwing less money in. I'm going to be diversifying into assets that aren't pumping at the time. So if you play the game the right way, you're going to make a profit. So again, my worst case scenario here is my profit is either significantly less or maybe I'm break even. Even if I'm break even, great. It's a savings account that isn't susceptible to inflation. So with that said, the next leg up, accumulating all this big fat chunk. And if we go up here, I'm going to be so much better off. If you look at history as well, anytime anyone's like, oh my, I bought Bitcoin at this time and 7 years later or so, I'm a millionaire. If you got to wait more than one cycle to make life-changing money, then sometimes you got to wait more than one cycle. If that's all it takes, man, then I'm more than willing. But I digress. Merlin the Trader, this is bad. Trump just proposed a $1.5 trillion military budget. In 2003, the Iraq War cost $2 trillion over 20 years. Hard assets win in wartime. They always have. Act accordingly. So if Trump's looking for 1.5 trillion and it costs us 2 trillion over, like, in 26 years ago, essentially, that's how bad inflation has gotten. Because he's not looking for Iran to last 20 years. You know what I mean? Even if it was 50%, it wouldn't last 10 years. That's ridiculous. That's how bad inflation is. Ash Crypto posted, altcoins are in a bear market since 2021. I agree. Real to True said, is it possible to manipulate a futures coin that has super trading liquidity that day? Yes. The liquidity could come from the manipulation. It's basically possible to manipulate anything if you have enough money or if you have enough control over that thing. So Bitcoin is a little bit harder, but the best example, I guess, would be, I think it was on Tether on Binance US. Let me see if I can find it. Last bull market. Whoo, yeah, there's one. Oh, it's not on here. So here's a good one. Some lucky bastard on Binance US, June 2023, had a sell order, a limit sell order, way up here at approximately, what is that high? $138,070. And some dumb idiot, unfortunately, I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it, smashed market buy on Binance US, and they paid $138,000 for one Bitcoin. Maybe not a full Bitcoin, but for any amount of Bitcoin. They paid $138K. At the time, Bitcoin was literally $30,000. So because there was this is a case of no liquidity. There was no liquidity here. So even if there's a lot of liquidity, if you can manipulate your way, break through that order book, then you can end up with a candle like this as well. Now, I believe on the same exchange on Binance US, they might have gotten rid of it. It might be a different stablecoin as well. Let me see. Can I find Binance US? Uh-oh. Binance US there it is. Here's one. No. So I remember when Bitcoin was around 60K, 40, 50, 60K on Binance US, there was a wick that went down to 8 grand. So same exact situation, just the opposite. Some dumb idiot hit market sell and some smart bastard had a limit buy order at $8,000 for Bitcoin. And the guy that sold, that smashed market sell without checking the liquidity or the order books, literally sold his Bitcoin for $8,000, and at the time it was worth 60. So the guy that had the buy order made an instant 7.5x on his ridiculously, insanely low buy order. So if you wanted some crazy, like, Mr. Krabs style strategy, in theory, you could go to ridiculously, insanely low liquidity, low volume exchanges and just set stupid low buy orders. That's not a guaranteed hit. It's also not a guarantee that you're going to get your money back, because a lot of times those exchanges may or may not be either insolvent or just a scam. So be careful. I'm not a financial advisor, but that stuff happens. Lunar Entity said, I still find it hilarious that a lot of crypto influencers that sold people on hardware wallets abandoned them entirely for the ETFs, right? Real to True said, I'm curious. I don't have funds to do it, but I'm wondering how people do it or if we can learn, lol. That was our tell. That was that the hue was going to be around 130K, dang, right? Yeah. The high, yeah. So, I guess my argument for that, if I was a bad actor, I would look at just insanely low coins. I think the biggest scam in the space right now, and it's all going to be based around bots. So if you can't do bots, then you're probably not going to have any luck. But people make coins. I really want to find it. I think it was called Blaze. It was a dog. It's going to bug the crap out of me, man. There was a coin and it was a dog. And you could see it manipulated. I wonder if I can find one. If you just search by market cap, yeah, anything in the billions is usually a scam. Yeah, this is a scam right here. This thing launched, built up the price, and then rugged. Look at that. Look at that. This is insane. So this is what happens. These coins launch, and they have bots. The bots like arbitrage. They just buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. And because there's no actual people buying, they can like market sell or limit sell, and then the bot auto limit buys, and the price pumps up with little to no liquidity. So you give it like $1,000, and you get this thing up to a multi-billion-dollar market cap. And places like CoinMarketCap know this happens. That's why they don't just automate their whole system, because then all of the top 10, top 100 be riddled with these scams. So this thing gets up this high. Meanwhile, Tom, Dick, and Harry are watching. They're being little degens on their whatever, their Pump Fun live stream, and they're like, oh my gosh, dude, did you guys see AS coin on Polygon? It's literally... And then they pile in. You know, you catch a couple grand here, a couple grand there, and then this thing chops. I guess this one chopped, I guess. And then eventually they sell. The bots sell. Maybe they didn't get any catches, but as long as you get a handful of people that buy, you know, you can capture a couple $100, couple grand. You put a $1,000 investment, you make $4 or $5 grand off of it, just scamming people. Then, you know, you're gonna probably do that all day if you have no morals, and that's what happens. That's what these coins literally reach multi-billion-dollar valuations within a day. And it's all just one big sham. I'm not saying every multi-billion-dollar coin is a scam, but just look at these things, man. Siren did the same thing. They own majority of the supply. The minter owned majority of the supply. What other ones? Market cap. See, there's never that many. What the heck is MSVP? This one worked too. Look at that. Same freaking thing, man. Every time. I really can't remember the dog one. We watched it live. I was like, this thing's going to be a rug. And we clicked on it, just insta-dumped, straight down. Harambe, still chilling sideways. Doraemon? That sounds familiar. D-O-R-E. Oh, is that it? Ooh, that one looks like not the right one, maybe. Nobody had exposure. Pippin did the same, similar as well, too. Let me see. It's up 47% today. See, cute picture, man. I'm a sucker. I'll buy that stupid crap. I don't even know what the hell this is. Yeah. This one looks like it was floored for a long time. I don't know if this one was a scam. This one might have been one that just launched. It launched, didn't do shit, so they kind of sold off, forgot about it. It had a little hype cycle, another little mini hype cycle, and then someone was smart and bought a bunch. And then it caught traction. They probably sold a bunch here, they probably sold a bunch here, and they probably sold a bunch here. It might have been multiple people, it might have been one guy, but the fact that the spike is so far leads me to believe that maybe this was not like the creator from the beginning. Maybe it was a creator later. Maybe they created it and they just abandoned it, and then they saw that it blew up and they sold a bunch. But clearly somebody had a very large chunk of this in order for it to, you don't get, minus 30% single candles, and like single day candles, it's minus 50%. Twitter and Telegram was all deleted. Yeah. So they probably made it forever ago and just sat on it. And then it eventually caught traction somehow. What's scary is that's kind of all you have to do. You get, like, people could have made coins a year ago, automated the Twitter with the AI, and the Twitter's posting every single day. And then somebody stumbles upon it. They're like, look at this community has been building for 12 months. And then they buy into it and then they get scammed. We got Bernie. Let's go. Yeah, this one might be a rug. It might not be, but no, someone's got 163K with this. Yeah, get out of here. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. That guy's got 163K and it's got the liquidity for it too. That's crazy. All right. I gotta get out of there. Okay, continuing the news segment. Bar chart, Japan's 10-year yield jumps above 2.39%, the highest level since 1999. Definitely manipulated. Pippins out of my timeline. Real to True said, I don't know if it's bad acting though, right? Using your brain to make decisions like card counting, like poker, most business in general. See, that's where I hit that gray area, because there was that kid. There was that dumbass, like, it was like he was probably like 15, 16 years old. And he rugged a bunch of people on a coin. And everyone was like, that kid's a scammer. When in reality, he owned a big supply. The only way that it's fraud or a scam is if he said, I'm never going to sell this. Then you can get him for fraud. But if he just had a bunch and he's like, I own this much, we're taking it to the moon, whatever. And then it popped up and he sold his supply. That's not a scam. That's somebody with a big chunk selling when it got high. And then he did it again. And he made a coin called Sorry. People pumped that one up, and he sold again. And I'm pretty sure he did this in front of the camera. And that's a screenshot that spread everywhere. And everyone, people like found out where the kid lived and stuff. They're like, F this kid. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, you're the dumbass that bought the coin. You know what I mean? So there's that gray area where people that get burned are going to just, play victim. And everybody's always a victim. Nobody can ever admit responsibility for their own money. It's ridiculous. Lunar Entity posted, check out the ASX chart for Paladin Energy from 1995 to 2003. Great example of everyone's scared, send it. Okay. Real to True, in my opinion, the best way to make money in crypto when it comes to meme coins and stuff like that, ASX Technology Holdings from Paladin Energy. Is it ASE Technology Holdings? Paladin Energy. Hang on. ASXPDN. Paladin Energy Ltd. Okay, ASX. There we go. I got it. Okay, let's go to the daily. In my opinion, the best way to make a bunch of money in crypto without actually scamming people is to make a coin that people want to trade, and you just make a shit ton of money off of fees. If you can get a coin that people want to buy, you'll make a shit ton of money off of fees. Because everyone wants to make $50 million today, that's where the problem comes into play. Instead of making a couple grand a day, I would be so happy with a couple grand a day. Are you kidding me? You get the right coin, you get the fees, you got to slowly build up the community. It takes a little bit of effort, but you won't go to prison for being a moron. I don't know. I can't steal money from people. I think that's ridiculous. But if I have a lot of a coin and the coin goes up, I'm going to trickle out, I'm not going to one-clip it. So there's the shitcoin etiquette as well. Paladin Energy ASX. All right, from 1995 to 2003. Guess we gotta go to the weekly. Whoa. $19.95. Probably want to go out to the monthly. Okay. Jesus. Everyone's scared. Send it. It looks like it goes down. 95 to 2003. Yeah, it looks down to me. But then 2004 explosion to the upside. That's crazy. Look at that. How many people like retired off of this? All you need is the right ticker, man. Just the right ticker. 6,600. $66,000 if you. Oh, what is 66,000? I don't know. That's a big ass spike right there. That looks so flat though. I guess it literally looks like it went damn near zero. What the hell, dude? What a crazy move. What happened? What actually happened here? Like, what's the story? Because this is freaking insane. You got a spike from 96 to 97. You got a spike from 99 to 2000. And then you have this just crazy move. Just this candle alone right there. 205% in that month. What month was that? September 2004. That's crazy. Where's this one? 66%. Man. 205% candle. Whew. Man, to be able to see that stuff again, maybe we got to get the trenching, man. We might have to do separate, like, trenching live streams where we just try to hit it big in the trenches just for fun, you know. $20 a week. See if we can, you know, build that up to $200. I think that'd be so much fun. The company was profitable and made smart acquisition into energy bubble. Nuclear had a weird moment after 2002. I like nuclear right now, but it's not doing ball, dude. This is one of my this is one of my worst performers right now. But I'm like, is it gonna do good for the stupid data centers? This looks a lot like Bitcoin. It just looks like Bitcoin to me. You know, you got the 3 spikes, and then the third spike is the dead spike. Bitcoin's got the same exact freaking thing. 1, 2, third spike is dead. Fuckers. I mean, it's well above its low, though, I guess. That's my best case scenario, is above 2024. It's like flatline way back here in 2021 territory. Great job, JJ. Kodak has been killing it. I don't know why. What did Kodak just do? Yeah, look at this. Dude, that's freaking crazy. Are you kidding me? I should have bought more. Look at that. That's a freaking 20% candle on the day. I didn't even see that. I gotta check my Robinhood, dude. It's been a while. I haven't looked in a while. That's so sick. Lunar Entity said, a guy bought when he thought it was undervalued and saw it go down 50% and got scared. Then he was up 6,000%. That's crazy. That's what happens, man. That's why I always preach that I don't want to get out of my bags fully, ever. No matter what it is, stock, crypto, anything. I can't believe Kodak did that, dude. That's crazy. Yeah, this thing was $6 the other day. It's up freaking 100%. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Okay, it's not 100%. 60. Calm down, JJ. You need to relax. What a great chart, though. Like, why are they pumping up so much? Let me see if there's any news. Kodak's valuation after the Rycore battery platform expansion. 52-week high. What's driving the move? What is the market cap right now? They're sitting at a market cap of... God, Robinhood is such a mess, dude. Can I not see the market cap on this stupid app? 1.1 billion? 20% is crazy, dude. 24 on a 4 hour. That's a 24% 4 hour candle. What in the world? That's so sick. That's like my first great stock pick. Microsoft is getting torn apart. Good. I actually like Microsoft, but the stock I could care less about, honestly. I feel like they've had way too much market share for way too long. It's about damn time. They're probably going to recover now. All right. Germany. Germany's share of global GDP expected to fall by 4% to 4% by 2030, the lowest level in at least half a century. Nike fell to its lowest price since 2014, obliteration. Chinese holdings of U.S. Treasuries plunged to the lowest level since the global financial crisis. NASDAQ approaching a death cross. While equities can often form a bottom after a death cross, they often trade weak going into the cross. Samuel Benner, a farmer from the 1800s, farmers are weirdly good at trading, published a book with market analysis on periods of panic, good times to buy, and good times to sell. 150 years later, his analysis has proven to be remarkably accurate. Yeah. Yep. 2026 is pretty much the last year. We got hard times coming in 2032. And then 2035, people will panic. Or no, I'm sorry, hard times coming in 2032, then 2034. So 8 years later, we will have another good times kind of situation. And then 2035 will be a bad year, apparently. We'll see what happens. Turkey dumped 120 tons of gold over the last 3 weeks to support their currency, and the Turkish lira still fell to an all-time low. Damn. That's crazy. Hedge funds dumped European stocks last month to the third fastest pace in a decade. What does selling gold do to support the currency? Like, a genuine question. How do you sell gold and support your currency with what you sell the gold for? Hedge funds dumped European stocks last month at the third fastest pace in a decade. Hedge funds dumped global stocks last month at the fastest pace in more than 12 years. Wow. What is that one? 2013? Whew. Gasoline soars to the highest price since July 2022. Nike plunges to most oversold level in history on the monthly chart. Iran has 48 hours to reopen the Strait of Hormuz before the United States unleashes hell. Jerome Powell, the thing that we are concerned about is that there is zero net job creation in the private sector. You should be concerned, Jerome. You should probably cut interest rates, bro. Lunar Entity said consumer staples like Kodak usually go up as growth sector slows or contracts, usually signals economic slowdown. Really? Interesting. To me, we got Coinfessions now. To me, making it is simply making enough money to buy my soon-to-be fiance a beautiful ring and pay off my debts. Life is simpler this way. Guys, I'm not going to lie. Before crypto, genuinely was not a financially savvy person. I had no savings, and I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I just felt like everything was a struggle all the time, and I played victim. I'm like, oh, I just don't make enough money. The world's out to get me, and that is the wrong mindset to have. That guy, that Coinfession was beautiful. You want to avoid debt entirely if you can. Your first goal, in my opinion, to financial freedom, I'm not a financial advisor, is to remove your debt entirely. Now, it's not a bad idea to have like a credit card that you pay off every single month, but you don't want that interest. That's why you want to pay it off every single month. You still want a credit score because you can utilize debt in the future as a tool. But avoid it. It is not a necessity. So if you cannot have debt entirely, it's like a huge burden removed from your life. I have zero debt. It feels so good. It feels so good every month to just pay my bills and have no expenses. It's amazing. So as a not financial advisor, the best advice I could give, not financially, would be to just erase your debt as soon as possible. Obviously, mortgage is unavoidable, Personally, I'm not a big vehicle guy. I don't like to finance a vehicle. I like to buy a vehicle. If I got to do a little bit of work on it, that's totally fine. If you got to pay a mechanic to work on it, it's totally fine. You are going to save so much money not having a car payment and not needing to pay for full coverage. I'm just saying. Next, I made $86,000 from meme coins last bull run last year. I made today $1K from closing a deal. I feel more satisfied today. I think hard work is the answer. And that's another problem too, is we have so many people that have gone through situations like that where they make a bunch of money from crypto and then they don't want to go do the work for 1K because they know that they can make a bunch of money from basically nothing. Real to True said I paid my car cash. Amazing. That's the way to do it, man. That is 100% the way to do it. I had a bad experience with a finance vehicle when I was 19 years old because I was an idiot. Never again. Yeah, I don't think, if anything, I might lease. If I was like FU money rich, I might consider leasing. But I think at that point I would just buy the car cash too. I don't really have a desire for brand new cars. I think they're all fugly anyways, but I would get like a Toyota. I feel like Toyota, there's some pickup trucks that are unique, but SUVs all look the same, man. Cars all look the same. It's ridiculous. I had my funds split between FTX and Bybit. 2 days before the FTX disaster, somebody hacked me and was able to buy worthless NFTs on Bybit for the $40K I had in spot. Bybit detected the transactions, froze my account, and said they froze my funds on the hacker's account, but is still holding them 3 years later. I sold my FTX bankruptcy claim. I have no money left and have to declare bankruptcy soon. Damn, that sucks. Saeed, how you doing, my friend? Happy Easter. Cheers. Happy Sunday to you. And good morning. I believe it's morning where you are. Financial stress among U.S. consumers is intensifying. Let's open that tab as well to get that ready. The delinquency rate on subprime loans is up to 10% of total outstanding debt, the highest in 11 years. Subprime loans are those made to borrowers with credit scores below 660, meaning they were already considered higher risk at the time of borrowing. The delinquency rate has more than tripled since 2021, when pandemic-era forbearance programs temporarily allowed borrowers to delay payments without being marked as delinquent. By comparison, the delinquency rate peaked at 19% during the 2008 financial crisis, when subprime debt was $3.5 trillion and made up around 30% of total household debt. Today's subprime debt stands at $2.7 trillion, or around 15% of the total, still a significant portion. An increasing number of Americans are falling behind on their debt, which, again, is why it is so nice to not have debt, because then you don't have to worry about falling behind anything. There's nothing to fall behind on. If you guys have debt, not financial advice, pay it off. Prioritize it. And unfortunately, I think Dave Ramsey is hit or miss. Probably a good 80% of what he says is genius, but it's always the simplest thing. Do not build debt. And when you have debt, make sacrifices to pay the debt off. Real the True said, y'all remember why we celebrate Easter. Lunar Entity said, go easy blew up recently. Check out the chart. Fun times ahead in global real estate. Subprime never dies. It just gets smarter at socializing losses. Go easy. What the heck is go easy? You gotta give me a little more a little more info. I don't know how to look up these fancy charts. All right. White House issues rare Saturday press lid and denies speculation that Trump was taken to Walter Reed Medical Center as rumors about the president's health swirled during the Iran war. The U.S. economy is going through a hiring recession. The number of hires as a total percentage of employment fell 0.3 percentage points in February to 3.1%, in line with the 2020 pandemic low. This is also the lowest level since January 2011, and just 0.3 percentage points above the 2008 financial crisis low of 2.8%. At the same time, the private hiring rate declined 0.4 percentage points to 3.3%, the lowest since February 2010. Back then, the U.S. unemployment rate stood at 9.7%, more than double the current 4.4%. Furthermore, the quits rate decreased minus 0.1 percentage points in February to 1.9%, the lowest since the 2020 pandemic. The U.S. job market is in bad shape. Lunar said, subprime lender, you had the chart. GSY is the ticker. Okay, thank you. I didn't know if you meant blew up like up or blew up like down. Great. Now I can't even bring up the right chart. There we go. So it blew up as in like imploded. Got it. 34.87. Whoa, this thing was at 107 before. Jeez. Woo. I mean, returned to the... It clearly had a very comfy home right here. You know, returned to that level. It was like having a vacation up here, and then it just came home. What's the one... Gosh, that's... Imagine, dude. That would be so devastating. My boss... I think I've told this story before. My boss calls me, and so this is at the point where I had begun having cash, good amounts of cash. He calls me, and what's this stupid Truth Social, DJI. He calls me. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning. Again, I never wake up that early, ever. 7 o'clock in the morning. That's not what I'm looking for. DJT. That's what I'm looking for. He calls me at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm never up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I answer the phone. I'm like, hello? He goes, JJ, me and his buddy, we'll call his buddy Jim. Me and Jim are looking at DJT's $70. It was literally this spike right here. How do we buy some? And I go, I have a Robinhood account. I can buy some right now, but you need to pay me back today. He goes, all right, we want 10 shares. I'm like, okay. So I spent $700 on these 10 shares. $700. $700. Guess how much those 10 shares are worth today? Oh, that's right. You can see they're worth $91.80. $600 just thrown in the trash compactor. Hopefully it comes back, but damn. This thing was a straight up full-on extraction event. Like, when is this ever going to go up again? It went up at launch, and it went up at election. This dude's not going to get elected a third time. You know what I mean? And even the election couldn't do what it did when it launched. Get out of here, dude. I mean, the guy became the president of the United States of America. He's not going to become the freaking leader of the planet. What more can you do? That's what it took for this thing to reach $70. I feel bad, but nobody ever listens to me, so I just didn't say anything that time. He also... I shouldn't be even talking about this. During last bull market, I kept telling him, I'm like, I would show him, I'd be like, this is how much crypto I have, and he'd be like, oh my gosh, that's crazy, because he knew how much I put in. And he was listening to all these goofy, like, conspiracy channel YouTubers, and they're like, buy all these coins, and it was like the scammiest BNB, like, rug pull meme coins, and he's like, can you help me buy these? And I told him, I was like, this is not a good idea. These are scams, Jason. And he's like, oh, good, just buy them. And I was like, okay. He's like, this guy said they're not scams. I was like, all right. So then I bought them, and they're scams. Those all went to zero as well. So, yeah. I don't know if he's going to start listening to me at some point, but it was kind of funny. 88 said, not bad. Seems to be a fairly average gain for tokens nowadays. LOL. Lunar said, I mean, if your goal is to make insider money, just dark pool short and options relentlessly. Cover if the Vega gets unsustainable. I don't know what that means. All right. Kobe SE Leader, have any updates for us? We got to the last one over here. U.S. job markets struggling. We've got one more post from Kobe SE Leader. Optical stocks have become the hottest trade in AI space. Lumentum is up 1,000% over the last 12 months, the second best performing stock in the S&P 500. Over the same period, Applied whatever is up 551%. Coherent, 282%, Corning, 223%, and Fabrinet, 176%. This marks a massive outperformance of the NASDAQ 100, which returned 23%. These companies make optical components that use light instead of traditional copper wiring to move data inside AI data centers. The technology has gained popularity as AI infrastructure demands faster and more efficient communication, which, by the way, is another reason why copper and silver might not matter when it comes to the supply chain and AI and stuff like that. Now, energy cannot travel through light as far as we're aware. So for energy transfer, you still need stuff like copper and silver. But there's wireless energy technology in the works as well. So the metals might become irrelevant soon. Let's see. Technology has gained popularity. Infrastructure demands efficient communication. In early March, NVIDIA announced it would invest $2 billion in each Lumentum and Coherent. Optical stocks are the latest beneficiary of the AI boom. Yeah, you should have seen that coming, honestly. We should have made a whole portfolio with those, to be honest. I don't know why we didn't even think of that. Lunar said, it's the same strategy pump and dump coins use, just with way less exposure for the scammer. It's a common strategy hedge funds employ in dark pools for securities, especially securities that have vulnerable share floats. That's so crazy to me. They're always just trading against themselves, but the only people that get screwed are the people that join in. It's like, I don't even know how to metaphor that situation. I can't come up with a proper metaphor. There's a family. This is my sloppy metaphor. There's a very, very wealthy family, and they make pharmaceuticals, and they're all sick with the flu, so they're all treating themselves with their pharmaceuticals to get better, and they invite people over. The people over are the retail traders. The people come over and they get sick, and they're like, oh, my company makes this medicine. Go to your doctor and get a prescription for it. So then these people are benefiting from their medicine being bought and used, and all they have to do is be sick and make other people sick. That's my stupid metaphor of the evening. Lunar Entity said, that's why GME went as high as it did. If you somehow tap that dark pool liquidity, those shorts cascade rather than spiking. I love it. Yeah, GME is such a good story. That's actually what inspired me to really get into finance. I can't go USDT, duh. I love this story so much. It's such a cool story. The movie was pretty good too. I was quite impressed with the movie. Yeah, look at this thing. This thing was freaking dead. $1. It's $23 right now. If you would have bought the low down here, if you would have bought all this from 2016 to 2021, you would have just bought those 5 years. You'd be up 20-something X right now. That's pretty impressive. 88 goes, LOL, what the F? Lunar said, for example, Quantum had $800 million trade in a day when the dark pool got squeezed, yet the stock market cap was $30 million. It IPO'd at $830 million. Oh, damn. Okay. Spicy. Sneaky motherfuckers. The guy that did this, I think, was smart. What's his name? Keith Gill? Roaring Kitty? Because he made a shit ton of money and then he got out. And he's probably a billionaire. A couple $100 billion. And nobody hates him. Everybody loves him, dude. That's the way that you're supposed to do it. That is proper, in my opinion, shitcoin etiquette. Even if it's something that's not a shitcoin. You don't want to screw over everyone that's holding. If you don't care, then don't care. Just sell. Why do we even have this conversation if you don't give a shit? But personally, I don't want other people to lose money. So if I have a big chunk of the supply and there's a bunch of people coming in and they're making me money, I'm just going to sell little slivers all along the way. And if the time that I take is too long and the price cannot sustain itself, then so be it. People rug coins and then it destroys the entire project. There's so many brilliant tickers and IPs that were just thrown out because somebody was greedy. JY said, I still think he holds all his GME stock. I don't think he does. He sold a bunch and he disappeared. He might hold it now. He might have bought it back. but I'm pretty sure he sold a big fat ass chunk and he has like a ton of money. Lunar said that means hedge firms were able to capture 800 million in market share via short selling, which they can then reshuffle via paper options. 88 said, fuck it, I'm dumping on them. See, when the meme coin launched in Jordan's Discord from that chick, Ecoms, what was her damn name at the time? CryptoSys, that's what it was. I was the first buyer, and at like towards the peak, my bag was worth $76,000. I could have sold that and bought a house. The liquidity wasn't there. There's probably like 8 to 10 grand in liquidity, but $8 to $10,000 versus nothing. I would have received, I'm pretty sure, all of that $8 to $10,000. I didn't do that though, because all of the other holders were my friends. She sold. I think she got like 6 grand, and then one of the guys like talked to her and convinced her to give half of it back. She kept the other half for like her labor. I don't know. She disappeared. Never heard from her again. And we tried to work with the coin and lost a bunch of money, but the experience was so much fun, dude. But I personally, I don't see the appeal. If it's strangers, complete strangers, even then I don't really care to fuck people over, you know? There's no point in killing an entire project, in my opinion. I would much rather watch it grow and just trickle out. As long as I get my initial investment back, I'm happy. That's worst case scenario. Jay West Avenger said, hang on. Lunar Entity said, it's the same idea with how people pump poo-poo coins. Or no, I'm sorry, he just said poo coins. Inverse since those dark pool options absorb the market cap indefinitely. Joe Has Adventure said he became a billionaire in his recent live stream with the lock-in meme. Now, he appeared in the live stream, I think, in 2024 or last year. A lot of GME-style coins launched on Sol because of it. That's when he became a billionaire. Lunar Entity said 90% of stocks never recover from IPO, 95% never make a new all-time high. That means roughly 5% of all tickers succeed. The rest gets shorted since it's free money for firms. That's actually genius. 88 said, so someone else rugged I see, JJ the nice guy. I got an experience out of it, man. The experience was worth more than whatever I would have made off of it. Joe Adventure said, I just checked his YouTube channel, Roaring Kitty, June 7th, 2024, his last live stream. Damn. See, I don't know if I'd be able to stop live streaming either. Even if it was few and far in between, I wouldn't wait years. It would be crazy. At most, you guys might see me disappear for a week. When you know, that's how, if I stop streaming for more than like 20, if I skip more than one day, then either I'm sick, something crazy has happened in my life, or I made a shit ton of money. So if I return and I'm bubbly, then I probably made a ridiculously large amount of money. Or I'm delirious. Alright. Market's quiet, man. Yeah, we read that one. Bitcoin 67,143. Gold is doing a whole lot of nothing. The rest of the market's doing a whole lot of nothing. I guess I'm going to call it an evening. It's almost 11 o'clock at night, geez. How long have we been going? Almost 2 hours. Impressive. Alright, 10 votes in the current poll. I asked you guys which asset performs best in the next bull run. 70% of you guys said XRP, 30% said ETH, nobody said BNB, and nobody said Sol. We got a total of 10 votes. 88 said, "Mean you rugged a big one, LOL." Right? Jay West Adventure said, on the live, he was showing his GME holdings at 1 bill. That's what I mean. I think after that live, he sold. I'm pretty sure he sold his holdings. Let me see. Did Keith Gill sell his GME? As of June 2024, he did not sell. He exited his 120,000 call options and exercised them, bringing his total holding to 9 million shares of GME, making him one of the top 4 holders of the company. Options held, blah, 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 $20 strike price, ongoing investment. Despite volatility and high-profile return to 2024, Gill has maintained his bullish position, cashing out completely rather than cashing out completely. That was in 2024. Hold on. Did he sell? No public evidence shows he sold his disclosed GameStop shares as of June 13th, 2024. He was buying and selling options. He added GME shares, doubled his share count. Wall Street putting its foot down. I guess nobody knows. His net worth, allegedly, is $260 million, largely driven by a massive renewed position in GameStop shares and calls alongside a significant stake in Chewy. His portfolio, featuring 9 million GameStop shares, has fluctuated, with earlier reports placing with his holdings at roughly $268 to $289 million, following a $53,000 initial investment. Okay, so maybe he didn't sell. Maybe he's just taking out loans against it. What a guy. I had no idea. I thought he sold. My bad. On the live, he shows his holdings. Yep. If I was RK, Roaring Kitty, I'd exit. All RC has done is dilute the stock. JY said, yep, just proving my point is all. I don't think he did sell. Maybe he took some profits. I think he still has 90% or more of his holdings. Yep. Yeah, it looks like... So if I had to guess, I would assume he either took out a loan against it or he made a bunch of money elsewhere and he's just holding it for the culture. He might just make a shit ton of money doing like interviews in the movie deal and stuff. I don't know, man. There's certain things in pop culture that you just gotta respect, and I got nothing but respect for that guy. Absolute legend. I would credit him with the birth of a generation of investors. I would. I think that he's solely responsible for people in the past 2-3 decades giving a shit about investing. So that's pretty cool. But I suppose I should call it an evening. Like I said, have we reached the 2-hour mark? JY said, nah, but what if GME explodes next bull run? Then when Bill becomes 10 Bill, legend, right? But he's got to sell, and then he's technically going to rug it. So I don't know. You should just buy the company at that point. All right, folks. I'm going to call it an evening. As always, when the market starts to do anything crazy or anything at all, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Saturday and good night and happy Easter. I'll see you all tomorrow.